Good evening, Icon Youth. I hope you are well. If you don't know me, my name's Jake, and I'm got the privilege of bringing the word to you tonight. I'm currently preaching this on a Thursday night, not live to you on a Friday. That is because I'm currently self-isolating, not because I've got COVID, else I wouldn't be here right now. But currently I'm self-isolating. My dad is getting ready for an operation. I don't know if he wants me to say that, but it's good news nonetheless. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying tonight. I hope tonight's going incredible. I'm sure it is. Shout out to the team in Chesterfield. You guys are the best. And tonight I'm continuing our series that we've been doing these last few weeks, Cancelled, which we have heard some absolutely incredible messages from three people that have preached amazing messages. Judith preaching the first week about how that our mistakes don't define us, how our mistakes don't discount you, that actually you are not cancelled, that God has a plan for you, a plan that is greater than your past. Your future is so much better than your past and your present, and God has that all planned out for you. Ben as well, the second week, preached on the power of relationships, how important it is for us people that we actually need others, that we need to include others in our lives. And Nathan last week preached an incredible message as well about how that this place, this church will never ever, you can never ever lock this place down. It will never be locked down. You can never cancel the church. You can never cancel the power that the church brings. And tonight I want to preach a message to you that I believe will bring you hope. I believe that whatever situation you may be facing, or whatever situation you may face, that this message will speak to you, this message will stay to you, and it will drive you on in situations where you feel hopeless. Now you might be sat there tonight thinking, who on earth is this hype beast on my screen? Who on earth does he think he is? He doesn't know me, he doesn't know my situation, he doesn't know what situations I've been through. And the answer to that is no, I don't. But we believe in a God that knows everything about you. He knows your situation, he knows what situations you've been through. He knows what situations you're going through. He knows what situations you may go through in the future. But I'll tell you what, he knows how you overcome those situations. He knows how you get through them. And I believe tonight that you can walk away tonight. Wherever you are in life, you can walk away from it, having full faith that God will deliver you through that. He will use you to overcome everything that comes your way. I believe that tonight. So I'm going to get straight in tonight. My message is titled this, simply, The Certainty in an Uncertain World. Now, I don't know if you know this, but we're currently in a pandemic. I don't know if you've looked at the news recently. I don't know if over the last few weeks while you've been in lockdown, you've understood what is actually happening. But we currently living in a time that it's been very uncertain. It's been one of the craziest years I can remember. I mean, I think I might have experienced this when I was younger. I think there was in the early 2000s, there was something similar to this that I might have experienced. But for a lot of us, this is the first time we have ever been through anything like this. It is the craziest year, and the most significant thing is that we actually don't know what is actually happening all the time. This year's actually been very uncertain. That, during the start of the first lockdown, we didn't actually know what the situation was going to be next week. We didn't know what the situation was going to be tomorrow. And I'm here to tell you that there is one certainty in this world that will never change, that will never become uncertain, that is the same yesterday, today, and will be the same forever. And that is Jesus. That tonight I want to preach a message to you that simply states that you cannot cancel, you cannot lock down, you cannot get rid of the presence and the power of Jesus Christ in this world. You can never cancel the power of God in this world. And that is the message that I simply want to bring to you tonight. And I hope that you guys who may be going through stuff that you feel is hopeless, that you might be going through stuff that you may have switched off in the last few minutes thinking, Jake, there's nothing you can say that makes me think I can get through it. But I want you to listen closely tonight. This is a message that I feel has been put on my heart since the start of the year. This is a message that has got me through this year. You know, all the time I've been thinking about this, and I'm so happy that I can share this to you tonight. And I hope that you're taking notes. I hope that you really take in, because I feel that this is a God-given message that I have for you tonight. So I'm going to get straight into this, and I'm going to read a story to you in Matthew 8, and it's verses 24 to 27. And I'm going to read the Message version of it, because I'm cool, and the Message version is cool. So I'm going to read you this. And basically, context: Jesus and the disciples have got on a boat, and we're going to go from there, yeah? So this is what it says. It says, "Then Jesus got in the boat, his disciples with him. The next thing they knew, they were in a severe storm. Waves were crashing into the boat, and he was sound asleep. They roused him, pleading, 'Master, save us, we're going down.' Jesus reprimanded them. 'Why are you such cowards, such faint hearts?' Then he stood up and told the winds to be silent, the seas to quieten down. Silence! The sea became smooth as glass. The men rubbed their eyes, astonished. 'What's going on here?' Wind and sea come to heel at his command." I don't know if you can think of a time that maybe you couldn't find something, that you thought you'd lost something, that actually was right in front of you. That actually all this time was right there in front of you. But you somehow convinced yourself that it was gone, that you weren't getting it back. I remember a lot of times in school, during my times at school, where I couldn't find something. I couldn't find a book, a piece of homework, ironically, a worksheet, anything, and I would get so flustered. I don't know if you've ever been there in the morning when you're trying to pack your bag and you can't find something, and you start panicking because you start creating scenarios in your head about what this might cause for your day. And we kind of are looking about, kind of all flustered, we're sweating, we're crying. This was me. I don't know if this was you. Maybe I'm on my own here. But we're looking about, we're subtly but yet not subtly at all, making weird noises. We could have just gone and told our mum and dad, "Look, I can't find this." But we start making noises, we start whinging and whining until one of them says, "Jake, what on earth is up?" And then we tell them. And then we start blaming them. We start saying, "No, it's not my fault. You've lost it. You've lost it. You're the one that moved it. I don't know where it is. It must have been you." And we do this over and over again. And then it ends up being right in front of us. I don't know if that's ever been you in a situation. Now, this happened to me quite recently. And I've only told this story to my girlfriend, Katie. And I've only told it her for a specific reason. Because for a 21-year-old lad, this should never happen. I should be the most organised person. I'm a grown man now. My mum and dad have taught me as well as they possibly can. I should be organised. But one morning I woke up for work. Now, I have a routine. What I'll do is I'll get out of bed. I get all the stuff that is in my room that I'll need for the day. So it might be my jacket, my AirPods, my glasses, and my mask. I'll get my mask as well, because my mask is usually in my room. So I get them all together, and I'll take them downstairs, and then I'll have a shower, and I know they're all downstairs, ready for when I'm out the shower and I'm about to leave the house. Okay? You with me? Right. So I've had a shower, I've dried my hair, I've brushed my teeth, I've sorted it, I've made my lunch. Now during this time, I've decided that I have no idea where my mask is. Absolutely no idea. I've managed to I've put my jacket on, my glasses on, and I've decided that I have no idea where my mask is. And I'm like, oh, I must be still upstairs. So I've gone back upstairs. A mask should be something that you keep a few of in the house. Now, for some reason, I'm one of those people, that only has one mask. And then I refresh it the next day, because work have loads of masks. So I only had one mask and I couldn't find it anywhere. I am literally going crazy. Now I leave the house at 6:30 to get a bus for 25 to 7. And it's currently 6:32. So I am freaking out. Like, freaking out. And it gets to like 6:34. My mummy's like going crazy. My dad's shouting at me because I am like screaming. Well, I'm not screaming my head off, that's embarrassing. But I am flustered, as flustered could be. I am all over the shop. I then run downstairs and see my mask just sat on the coffee table where I left it. I'd put my mask on the coffee table, my jacket and all my other stuff on the sofa next to it. And I'd just, for some reason, not move my eyes a metre. So I picked it up. At this point, it's 6:35. Now, like, decisions are all over my head, but I'm like, oh, I'm ready, I'm going, I'm just going to sprint. I left my house and I sprinted to the bus stop. Now, the bus stop is uphill. It's at the top of a hill. I have to kind of like weave my way around a couple of corners. And I come up to the first corner sprinting, wearing shoes. I'm wearing like school shoes that have no grip at all. I'm not wearing trainers or anything. And on this pavement round the corner, there's like a bit of mud. And I've got it completely wrong. And as I've turned on the sprint, my agility's let me down. I've slipped and just landed flat on my face, hands to the ground, in basically a puddle of mud. I've got up, my trousers are all covered in mud, my hands are burning for some reason, I can't feel my elbow, my coat's ripped. At this point, I've got two options. If I have common sense, I think, right, Jake, your hands are killing it. You generally can't feel your elbow. That is not a good thing. That might need attention. Okay, you're covered in mud. That's embarrassing. Your coat's ripped. That needs replacing. You should just go home, dust yourself off, and get your dad to take you home. Or you do what I did and thought, I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for this pain, and just carried on sprinting. And I got to the bus stop, 36. I was lucky. Bus came 2 minutes later. So an extra 2 minutes of thinking, oh, I probably should just get a lift. But no, I got on the bus, and a day of covered in mud that I had to explain to 6 different people why. I had mud all over me, and it was probably the worst day, one of the worst days at work I've ever had. And I'm a 21-year-old lad. That shouldn't happen. But that's what sometimes happens, is we convince ourselves that something isn't there. And we spend so long running about trying to find it, getting all flustered, crying to people, bringing them into our issue, when actually the thing we're looking for is right in front of us. Now, these disciples, if we look at the story again, they straight away started panicking when the storm came. That actually, in a time of uncertainty, they didn't quite see the certainty that was actually on the boat with them. They should have realized who Jesus was, what he was capable of, and they would have been fine. But they constantly feel like they're in an issue. They create an issue for themselves, when actually the solution is right in front of us. And we do that so often in life. The certainty was Jesus. That was the certainty in the moment. And I'm telling you tonight, Icon Youth, that you might be in a situation that seems uncertain. Like this pandemic. It's uncertain. Yeah, we might have a vaccine on its way, but there's still no certainty that is going to bring us out of this. But we have to believe that God is always at the center. That we have to not miss that God is still at work in this world, that God's presence is still evident in this world. His power is still at work in this world and in this situation. So don't let that create problems. Don't let that create uncertain feeling that makes you panic. But look to God, because he brings that calmness in the storm. So we're going to look at Jesus, and we're going to look at 3 certainties about Jesus. See, I speak about Jesus, the power of Jesus being the certainty in this world, in an uncertain world, but I want to break it down and give you 3 certainties about him. And the first one is this, is that nothing phases him. Nothing phases him. If we look at verse 24, it says, then he got in the boat, his disciples with him. The next thing they knew, they were in a severe storm. Waves were crashing into the boat, and he was sound asleep. This guy literally slept through a severe storm. Like, I don't know about you, but if I'm in there and I'm going, whoa, 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 eventually I'm going to go, what is he doing? Why is he asleep? Like, I am literally nearly off this boat. We are going down here, and this guy is just asleep through it all. I don't know if you know anyone who's like that, who in the midst of absolute chaos, they're the quietest person in the room. Like, you go to an exam, some of you obviously won't have experienced this, but there's always the guy that's revised so much that it's annoying. That they literally know everything, and they're getting people to quiz them, and they're just nailing off answers left, right and centre, stuff that I've not even looked at yet, and I'm about to go into my exam that's about to determine something in my life. Those people that are just so calm in those situations. I don't know if you've been watching I'm a Celebrity in these last few weeks, but I'm a Celebrity, to be fair, this season it's just been full of people that aren't really this kind of person. But every I'm a Celebrity series, there's always someone who doesn't get selected for any trials because they are just unfazed by everything. And then when they eventually do a trial, they are just smooth, straight in, straight out. And I'm like, how can you do that? Like, snakes are horrible. Spiders are horrible. How are you just not shaking from this? Like, it's just crazy. And Jesus is that guy. Jesus is unfazed by anything. In this situation, there was a storm going on, but he was the calmest person in the boat. This is the same Jesus that turned water into wine. That in a wedding where there was so much chaos surrounding the fact that they'd run out of wine, this is what it was like back in those days. Jesus was the calmest person there. He took 5 jugs of water and just turned it into wine. And it wasn't just any old wine, it was the finest wine they could possibly get. This is the same Jesus that on a hill with 5,000 people to feed, with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, fed them easily. They were full, they were satisfied, that's what the Bible says. And there was still baskets and baskets of leftover left. This is the same Jesus that walked on water. Nothing phases him. If I was to walk on water, I'd go straight in and probably drown because I can't swim. Jesus just walks on it. You see, we overcomplicate things for Jesus. We overcomplicate things for God. We feel like I said at the start, that our situation is too big. But actually, we believe in a God, we serve a God who is unfazed by anything. There is nothing too much for God. There is nothing that is impossible for God. That what may look like a storm to us, what may cause us panic, and us a feeling of, oh my word, I am going down, that actually we serve a God who is above that. A God who is unfazed by that. A God who will literally sleep through your storms. That's how comfortable he is. So let's know that tonight, Icon Youth. My second certainty about Jesus is this, is that he is always in your boat. He is always in your boat. That actually, when we go through these situations, the disciples on the boat, if we look back at the story, they forgot that Jesus almost forgot who was in their boat. but he was always there. And in our situations, we can forget that actually God is in our boat. That we try and tackle things on our own, but we forget who is with us always. And we forget who he is. But this is the one person that can completely flip your situation around. And the best part about it is he's always there. He's always with you. He's always in your situation. I'm going to read some verses in Psalm 23, verse 1 to 6. And it says this. It says, the Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings. Surely your goodness and unfailing love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. I want to highlight verse 4 again. I'll read it again. It says, even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. God is always close beside me. He's always close beside you. That even when you walk through the toughest situations you could ever imagine, God is always with you. And he is unfazed. He's unmoved by any situation, by any storm. And we need to remember that tonight. That God is always with us. The person that can change situations, completely change situations. The God that nothing is impossible for. Who can do anything that can't be imagined, he can do. And he's always beside us in those times. See, he protects and he comforts. The storm wasn't comfortable for the disciples. But Jesus provided comfort and protection. He called them cowards. You know, as if they should just know that. You know, if I was like getting all flustered and someone shouted in my face, Jake, stop being a coward, I would go silent. You know, I don't know about you, but that's what that brings to me. It's like, why, if I'm worried and you're not, tell me why you're not worried. And God is not worried because God is always beside us. He's always protecting us. And this is my last point tonight, is this. My last certainty about Jesus is that peace is a promise that he always keeps. Peace is a promise that he always keeps. And we look back in the story that the outcome of the story was that the seas were still. The seas were as smooth as glass. That's what it says. That he just simply got up and told the waves, the wind to just silence. And it just calmed them down. That is always the outcome with Jesus. Peace is always the outcome with Jesus. 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 16 says this. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you his peace at all times and in every situation. The Lord be with you all. Jesus' peace is always with us, wherever we go. No matter what situation you face, the peace of God will always be with you, right until the end. And beyond the end of that situation, the peace of God will always be with you. Now to finish, I want to share a story, and it kind of about me, obviously, this year. Like I said, this message has been with me since the start of the year. And like I said, you know, this has been a crazy year for so many people. And in particular for our family, we experienced something that, for me personally, I know my brothers probably remember losing our uncle all those years ago, but for me personally, losing someone for the first time, we lost our nana in, I think it was August, end of July. And it was just a time where kind of I was tested like I've never been tested before. Experiencing something like that for the first time is going to test your emotions, and it did. And she died of a brain tumour. And when she first went into hospital, the doctor thought it was a stroke. And at that point, we're quite strong in the moment. We just thought, okay, let's take this step by step. Let's see how the scan comes. And I remember that day when we found out that she had that it was a brain tumour, that she had a tumour on her brain. And I just remember that day so vividly. I just remember at the time I was working from home, which probably made things a lot more difficult because at the time it was locked down. Everything I was doing was pretty much where I was. I felt very trapped. I didn't feel like I could go anywhere. At the time we couldn't see family. We weren't able to see each other. I didn't feel like I had an escape route. And I just remember being at my desk working, and I just couldn't concentrate. I couldn't pick myself up to do much, and it was so difficult. And I remember thinking, I've got to get out. I've got to get out of the house. I've got to do something. Luckily at the time, I was getting into running, and I just thought, I've just got to go for a run. I need to do something that is going to get my mind off this situation. And I just remember running. I got to about a mile into my run, and I just started again thinking about what I was trying to escape from. And I could not find peace. I could not find something that would just calm me down. I remember tears just running down my face and not being able to kind of get a rhythm with my breathing. And I just thought, I can't go on. I'm going to have to go home. I remember walking home thinking, what can I do? I can't escape this. This feeling, this trapped feeling. I can't go and see anyone. I don't know what to do. And that night, I kind of slept on it and had to just get on with it in the morning. And I remember working again at my desk the next day and thinking, I'm gonna put a message on. I'm gonna listen to a preach and just hope that gives me some sort of motivation. And I listened to a preach by a guy, and the title of the message was "Peace in My Pocket." And in that message, the guy talked about how we always have this peace in our pocket that will always be with us wherever we go. That actually, wherever we go, Jesus will always be with us. And because of that, peace will always be with us. And I remember thinking at the time, having this revelation that I was stuck in a situation. Come on, Jake. I was stuck in a situation where there was two outcomes. I knew there was two outcomes, but I knew that there was a certainty, that actually there was a promise, that at the end of that situation, what was holding on to my nana would no longer hold on to her. That actually there would be a peace in that situation. That there would be a peace over her life. There would be a peace over our family's lives. And that got me through it. every day after that, I was able to carry on, to pick myself up, because I knew that there was a promise, that at the end there would always be a peace, that at the end of every storm there would always be a peace, and that peace would come from God. That every day I'd pray and I'd speak to God, and I knew that He'd be with me, and I knew that His peace would always be with me. Now tonight, I want us to sing a song. I want us to sing a song about peace. Ironically, the title is called Peace. And in this song, I just want to sing the bridge, really. It talks about a peace, where fear takes hold. You might be in a situation where there's a fear in you about what the future might hold. There's a fear about what might be the outcome. It might be an exam. It might be a family situation. It might be something that's happening at home. But it might really be taking a hold of you. But I believe right now that as we sing these words, you will realize that we serve a God, that we believe in a guy called Jesus, who is the Prince of Peace, who will give us the peace to get through our situation, that He will give us a reminder that no matter what, the outcome of this situation with peace, that you will be able to walk out of that exam room with the peace of God, knowing that I've done all I can and that God will do the rest. And I just believe that tonight, as we go into our worlds, that we will know that there is a peace of God that is with us wherever we go. So thank you, guys. Let's sing this tonight with everything we got.